Rose Care 101. Hey everybody, welcome to EC Flowers and More. I am designer Frank Blanchard, AIFD, and as you can see, we're talking roses today. This is one of our videos in a series that we've got that we're adding to our EC Flowers and More YouTube channel that is all on the topic of proper care and handling of your farm direct flowers. Now, if you're not familiar with EC Flowers and More, they are one of the finest purveyors of top quality flower products out of Ecuador and Colombia that they take from the farms there in South America and ship them direct to your door. If you are not familiar with getting flowers farm direct, I highly recommend checking out their website and contacting them, because I think it might be a real good opportunity for you, depending on where you're located, to possibly broaden the number of offerings that you have for your business or your flower shop. But today, we're talking all about proper care and handling of roses. Now, if you've watched our first video in this series, it is all about what to do with your floral product when it first arrives at your door and how to take care of it first. And that first step is getting your flowers to wake up after their long period of shipping, which they haven't been in water and they've been in a box in cold storage prior to getting on the plane, and also in cold storage on the plane while they're heading your direction. During that time, the flowers tend to go to sleep, and the best way to treat your flowers is to first wake them up. All of these roses that you see here, I did that process first. If you watch that first video, it'll tell you all about the steps to go through to do that. It's real easy to do, it's not hard at all. But now I am going through the final steps of processing these roses. Now I have a total of 4 different varieties here. Up top here I have High and Yellow Magic, which is very popular with a lot of florists and floral designers. This really beautiful pale tea green is actually a variety called Limonada. And the hot pink here to the side is Topaz. And this last bunch that I'm processing is a newer variety. This is actually the first time I've used it, and also the first time I've seen it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this rose performs. So far, from what I've seen, I'm really happy with it. As you can see, the heads are gigantic, and the stems are nice and hefty as well. So this is a new variety called Iguazu, named after the very famous falls there in South America. And it so far is looking like it's gonna be a real showstopper. So let's first talk about water. Depending on where you're located, if you are using well water, or if you are in a larger metropolitan area and you are on a city water system, sometimes minerals in your water or additives to a city water system can sometimes make your cut flowers not last quite so long. So there are a couple of ways you can deal with that. The easiest, and I have to say this is what I generally do, is I fill up my containers the night before I'm going to use them. And right now I am just talking about storage containers or display containers. I fill my containers up with water the night before I'm gonna put them to use. That way, overnight, the water can come to room temperature, and also any of the minerals that are in the water or the additives in a city water system will evaporate off from the water. So that way you're gonna have less of that to deal with. If your water is really bad, another way that you can do it is to simply use a distilled bottled water. That's another way you could do it. Another way would be to use the aeration nozzle on your sink, and that aeration can help get rid of some of those additives and minerals in the water. So that's for starters. Also, the water that you are processing your roses into, two things. You need to make sure that the water is either room temperature or slightly warmer than that. Never put your roses into cold water. They very likely will not drink. In my 30+ years in the industry, anytime, wherever I've been, that we've been working and we've had an issue with roses not drinking, if you look back through the process of how they were treated during their care and handling, at some point they were put into cold water and they just don't draw as well. So I would highly recommend using room temperature water to water that's slightly on the warm side. To my water, in all of these vases, I've used a good quality floral preservative solution. The one that I'm using is from Floral Life. There are others out there. Everybody's got their favorite. You might want to do a little experimentation if you're new to getting roses and getting farm direct roses, because the treatment is a little bit different. So you might need to experiment a little bit with what works best for you. But those floral preservatives, also getting back to the water, do help neutralize some of those minerals in the water and the additives in the city water systems. So do make sure that you're using a good quality floral preservative. Now, with this last bunch of roses that I'm adding to this last vase, I am taking the time to take off the guard petals, which will enable the blooms to open a little bit faster. If you are getting ready for an event and you're trying to get roses to open a little faster, that's something that you want to make sure to do, is to take off those guard petals, because that definitely will help them open a little faster. Now, normally, I would also take the time to deal with thorns. We all hate those, especially when they get under your fingernail. But these, I have to say, I'm not even needing to do that because I haven't found a single thorn yet on this particular bunch. So normally what I would do would be to deal with the entire bunch of roses, taking the guard petals off, any of the foliage that would be below the water level in the container that I was going to store them in, and then cut them all at once, the whole bunch, and place them into my container with the water and the floral preservative. But today I'm going to do slightly smaller bunches just because I want you to be sure to see how I'm actually doing that. Now, I am kind of an old school florist, and I firmly believe in doing as much as you possibly can with a good, sharp design knife. If you're more comfortable using shears or clippers of some type, just make sure they are extremely sharp and clean. Now, I use my knife for pretty much everything. I hardly ever use clippers, but even with my knife, I do wipe my knife blade down periodically to disinfect the blade, because that's another way that you can be adding bacteria directly to the stems, which will make the blooms not last quite so long. So make sure that your shears or your knife, the blade's really sharp and it's also clean. So now I'm taking a few stems all at once, and I'm gonna give them a clean, sharp angled cut. And I'm gonna do it all at once in one motion and immediately into the water. Now, some people believe in processing their roses and other flowers and cutting them underwater. Now, if you find that works well for you, by all means, go for it. For myself, in the number of years that I've worked in the business, I can't say as I have found that that makes that much difference, or enough of a difference that I even notice in the actual base life of the flowers. So again, you might just want to experiment with it a bit to see what works best for you. And again, just make sure you're getting a good, clean, angled cut on your stems, because that's going to give the largest amount of space on each stem for the cambium layer to be able to draw water. The cambium layer is the outer green layer of the bark on each stem. So the more of an angle you can get on the stem, the more of that layer of the stem you're exposing to the water. So the whole bloom is going to be able to draw a whole lot more moisture up to the top so that the bloom gets maximum hydration. So with this last bunch, I'm getting one last clean cut and immediately into the water. So for proper care and handling, that's it. You just need to recut them and immediately get them into water. From there, I generally let my roses sit out for a while, at least for a few hours, before I put them into the cooler for storage. So hopefully that helps. Make sure you subscribe to the EC Flowers and More YouTube channel, because we're gonna be doing a lot more videos dealing with proper care and handling of your cut flowers. So we'll definitely do different ones, because there are some specifics on different varieties, and flower types are all slightly different. So definitely be sure to hit that bell icon so that you get notifications when we do upload new videos. But hopefully this helps clarify the best practices for proper care and handling of your farm direct roses. So until next time, I'm Frank Blanchard, AIFD, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.